The Book of the Canticles of King Solomon. Chapter 1. Here beginneth the Song of Songs. Kiss he me with the kiss of his mouth, for thy loves be better than wine, and give odour with best ointments. Thy name is oil shed out, therefore young damsels loved thee. Draw thou me after thee, we shall run. The king led me into his cellars. We mindful of thy loves above wine, shall make full out joy, and we shall be glad in thee. Rightful men love thee. Ye daughters of Jerusalem, I am black, but fair, as the tabernacles of Kedar, as the skins of Solomon. Do not ye behold me, that I am black, for the sun hath discoloured me. The sons of my mother fought against me, they set me a keeper in vineries. I kept not my vinery. Thou spouse, whom my soul loveth, show to me, where thou pasturest, where thou restest in midday, lest I begin to wander, after the flocks of thy fellows. Ah, thou fairest among women, if thou knowest not thyself, go thou out, and go forth after the steps of thy flocks, and feed thy kids, beside the tabernacles of shepherds. My love, I likened thee to mine host of knights in the chariots of Pharaoh. Thy cheeks be fair, as of a turtle, thy neck is as brooches. We shall make to thee golden ornaments, parted and made diverse with silver. When the king was in his resting place, my nard gave his odour. My darling is a bundle of myrrh to me. He shall dwell betwixt my teats. My darling is to me a cluster of cypress tree, among the vineries of Engedi. Lo, my love, thou art fair. Lo, thou art fair, thine eyes be the eyes of culvers. Lo, my darling, thou art fair and shapely. Our bed is fair as flowers. The beams of our houses be of cedar. Our couplings be of cypress. Chapter 2. I am a flower of the field, and a lily of great valleys. As a lily among thorns, so is my friendess among daughters. As an apple tree among the trees of woods, so my darling among sons. I sat under the shadow of him, whom I desired, and his fruit was sweet to my throat. The king led me into the wine cellar. He ordained charity in me. Beset ye me with flowers, compass ye me with apples, for I am sick for love. His left hand is under mine head, and his right hand shall embrace me. Ye daughters of Jerusalem, I charge you greatly, by caprits, and hearts of fields, that ye raise not, neither make to awake the dear-worthy spouses, till she will. The voice of my darling, lo, this darling cometh leaping in mountains, and skipping over little hills. My darling is like a capre, and a calf of hearts, lo. He standeth behind our wall, and beholdeth by the windows, and looketh through the lattice. Lo, my darling speaketh to me, my love, my culver, my fair spouses, rise thou, haste thou, and come thou. For winter is past now, rain is gone, and is departed away. Flowers have appeared in our land, and the time of cutting is come. The voice of a turtle is heard in our land, the fig tree hath brought forth his buds. The vineries flowering have given their odour. My love, my fair spouses, rise thou, haste thou, and come thou. My culver is in the holes of stone, in the chink of a wall without mortar. Show thy face to me, thy voice sound in mine ears. For thy voice is sweet, and thy face is fair. Catch ye little foxes to us, that destroy the vineries, for our vinery hath flowered. My darling is to me, and I am to him, which is fed among lilies, till the day spring, and shadows be bowed down. My darling, turn thou again. Be thou like a capre, and a calf of hearts, on the hills of Bether. Chapter 3. In my little bed, I sought him by nights, whom my soul loveth, I sought him, and I found not. I shall rise, and I shall compass the city, by little streets and large streets. I shall seek him, whom my soul loveth, I sought him, and I found not. Watchmen, that keep the city, found me, whether ye saw him, whom my soul loveth. A little when I had passed them, I found him, whom my soul loveth, I held him, and I shall not leave him, till I bring him into the house of my mother, and into the closet of my mother. Ye daughters of Jerusalem, I charge you greatly, by the caprits, and hearts of fields, that ye raise not, neither make to awake the dear-worthy spouses, till she will. Who is this woman, that goeth up by the desert, as a rod of smoke of sweet-smelling spices, of myrrh, and of incense, and of all powder of an ointment maker? Lo, 60 strong men of the strongest men of Israel compass the bed of Solomon. And all they hold swords, and be most witting to battles. The sword of each man is on his hip, for the dread of knights. King Solomon made to him a seat, of the wood of Lebanon. He made the pillars thereof of silver. He made a golden resting place, a going up of purple. And he arrayed the middle things with charity, for the daughters of Jerusalem. Ye daughters of Zion, go out, and see King Solomon in the diadem, with which his mother crowned him, in the day of his espousing, and in the day of the gladness of his heart. Chapter 4. My friendess, thou art full fair, thou art full fair. Thine eyes be of culvers, without that is hid within. Thine hairs be as the flocks of goats, that went up from the hill of Gilead. Thy teeth be as the flocks of shorn sheep, that went up from washing. All be with double lambs, and no barren is among those. Thy lips be as a red lace, and thy speech is sweet. As the remnant of an apple of Punic, so be thy cheeks, without that is hid within. Thy neck is as the tower of David, which is builded with strongholds made before for defense. 1,000 shields hang on it, all armor of strong men. Thy 2 teats be as 2 kids, twins of a capre, that be fed among lilies, till the day spring, and shadows be bowed down. I shall go to the mountain of myrrh, and to the little hill of incense. My love, thou art all fair, and no wem is in thee. My spouses, come thou from the Lebanon. Come thou from the Lebanon, come thou. Beholding from the head of Amana, from the top of Shenir and Hermon, from the dens of lions, from the hills of leopards. My sister spouses, thou hast wounded mine heart. Thou hast wounded mine heart, in one of thine eyes, and in one hair of thy neck. My sister spouses, thy loves be full fair. Thy loves be fairer than wine, and the odor of thy clothes is above all sweet-smelling ointments. Spouses, thy lips be in honeycomb dropping, honey and milk be under thy tongue, and the odor of thy clothes is as the odor of incense. My sister spouses, a garden closed together. A garden closed together, a well sealed. Thy sendings out be paradise of apples of Punic, with the fruits of apples, cypress trees with nard and saffron, an herb called fistula, and canel, with all trees of the Lebanon, myrrh, and aloes, with all the best, the first, ointments. A well of gardens, a well of welling, the quick waters, that flow with fierceness from the Lebanon. Rise thou, north wind, and come thou, south wind, blow thou through my garden, and the sweet-smelling ointments thereof shall flow. My darling, come he into his garden, to eat the fruit of his apples. Chapter 5. My sister spouses, come thou into my garden. I have reaped my myrrh, with my sweet-smelling spices. I have eaten in honeycomb, with mine honey. I have drunk my wine, with my milk. Friends, eat ye, and drink, and most dear friends, be ye filled greatly. I sleep, and mine heart waketh. The voice of my darling knocking. My sister, my love, my culver, my spouses unwemmed, open thou to me. For mine head is full of dew, and mine hairs be full of drops of nights. I have unclothed me of my coat. How shall I be clothed therein? I have washed my feet. How shall I defoul them? My darling put his hand by an hole, and my womb trembled at the touching thereof. I rose, for to open to my darling. Mine hands dropped myrrh, and my fingers were full of myrrh most proved. I opened the wicket of my door to my darling, and he had bowed away, and had passed forth. My soul was melted, as the darling spake. I sought, and I found not him. I called, and he answered not to me. The keepers that compassed the city found me. They smote me, and wounded me. The keepers of walls took away my mantle. Ye daughters of Jerusalem, I beseech you by an holy thing, if ye have found my darling, that ye tell to him, that I am sick for love. Ah, thou fairest of women! Of what manner condition is thy darling of the beloved? Of what manner condition is thy darling of a darling? For thou hast so besought us by an holy thing. My darling is white and ruddy, chosen of thousands. His head is best gold. His hairs be as the boughs of palm trees, and be black as a crow. His eyes be as culvers on the strands of waters, that be washed in milk, and sit beside fullest rivers. His cheeks be as gardens of sweet-smelling spices, set of ointment makers. His lips be lilies, dropping down the best myrrh. His hands be able to turn about, golden, and full of jacinths. His womb is of ivory, adorned with sapphires. His hips be pillars of marble, that be founded on foundaments of gold. His shapeliness is as the Lebanon, he is chosen as cedars. His throat is most sweet, and he is all desirable. Ye daughters of Jerusalem, such is my darling, and this is my friend. Chapter 6. Thou fairest of women, whither went thy darling? Whither bowed thy darling? And we shall seek him with thee. My darling went down into his orchard, to the garden of sweet-smelling spices, that he be fed there in orchards, and gather lilies. I to my darling. And my darling, that is fed among the lilies, be to me. My love, thou art fair, sweet and shapely as Jerusalem. Thou art fearful as the battle array of hosts set in good order. Turn away thine eyes from me, for they made me to flee away. Thine hairs be as the flocks of goats, that appeared from Gilead. Thy teeth be as a flock of sheep, that went up from washing. All be with double lambs, either twins, and no barren there is among them. As the rind of a pomegranate, so be thy cheeks, without thy privates. 60 be queens, and 80 be secondary wives, and of young damsels is none number. One is my culver, my perfect spouses, one is to her mother, and is the chosen of her mother. The daughters of Zion saw her, and preached her most blessed. Queens, and secondary wives, praised her. Who is this, that goeth forth, as the morrowtide rising, fair as the moon, chosen as the sun, fearful as the battle array of hosts set in good order? I came down into mine orchard, to see the apples of great valleys, and to behold, if vineries had flowered, and if the pomegranate trees had burgeoned. I knew not. My soul troubled me, for the chariots of Amenadib. Turn again, thou Shulamite. Turn again, that we behold thee. What shalt thou see in the Shulamite, but companies of hosts? Chapter 7. Daughter of the prince, thy goings be full fair in shoes. The jointures of thy hips be as brooches, that be made by the hand of a craftsman. Thy navel is as a round cup, and well formed, that hath never need to drinks. Thy womb is as an heap of wheat, beset about with lilies. Thy two teats be as two kids, twins of a capre. Thy neck is as a tower of ivory. Thine eyes be as cisterns in Heshbon, that be in the gate of the daughter of multitude. Thy nose is as the tower of Lebanon, that beholdeth against Damascus. Thine head is as Carmel, and the hairs of thine head be as the king's purple, joined to troughs. Most dear spouses, thou art full fair, and full shapely in delights. Thy stature is likened to a palm tree, and thy teats to clusters of grapes. I said, I shall go up into a palm tree, and I shall take the fruits thereof. And thy teats shall be as the clusters of grapes of a vinery, and the odor of thy mouth as the odor of pomegranates. Thy throat shall be as best wine. Worthy to my darling for to drink, and to his lips and teeth to chew. I shall cleave by love to my darling, and his turning shall be to me. Come thou, my darling, go we out into the field, dwell we together in towns. Rise we early to the vinery. See we, if the vine hath flowered, if the flowers bring forth fruit, if pomegranates have flowered, there I shall give to thee my loves. Mandrakes have given their odor in our gates. My darling, I have kept to thee all apples, new and eld. Chapter 8. Who may grant to me thee, my brother, sucking the teats of my mother, that I find thee alone withoutfeth, and that I kiss thee, and no man despise me then? I shall take thee, and I shall lead thee into the house of my mother, and into the closet of my mother. There thou shalt teach me, and I shall give to thee drink of wine made sweet, and of the must of my pomegranates. His left hand shall be under mine head, and his right hand shall embrace me. Ye daughters of Jerusalem, I charge you greatly, that ye raise not, neither make the dear worthy spouses to awake, till she will. Who is this spouses, that goeth up from desert, and flowereth in delights, and resteth on her darling? I raised thee under a pomegranate tree. There thy mother was corrupted, there thy mother was defouled. Set thou me as a signet on thine heart, as a signet on thine arm. For love is strong as death, envy is hard as hell. The lamps thereof be lamps of fire, and of flames. Many waters be not able to quench charity, neither floods shall oppress it. Though a man give all the chattel of his house for love, he shall despise, or reckon it, as naught. Our sister is little, and hath no teats. What shall we do to our sister, in the day when she shall be spoken to? If it is a wall, build we thereon silver and towers. If it is a door, join we together with boards of cedar. I am a wall, and my teats be as a tower, since I am made as finding peace before him. A vinery was to the peaceable. In that city, that hath peoples, he betook it to keepers. A man bringeth 1,000 pieces of silver for the fruit thereof. The vinery is before me. 1,000 be of thee peaceable, and 200 to them that keep the fruits thereof. Friends, hearken thee, that dwellest in orchards. Make thou me to hear thy voice. My darling, fly thou. Be thou made like a capre, and a calf of hearts, on the hills of sweet-smelling spices.